U.S. citizen, he's not a real cop.
Look, D.C. residents are revolting against Donald Trump, as is the nation. They're pissed. They don't like to see the National Guard and the marshals and other federal forces patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. You saw those people in that clip right there. The military set up a checkpoint yesterday at 14th Street Northwest, where there's like lots of bars and clubs, and people are out there just enjoying themselves in Washington, D.C., while Donald Trump is projecting his dictatorial fantasies and calling D.C. a beautiful city, a hellhole. By the way, crime is down 30% in Washington, D.C. I went to law school. I went to undergrad in D.C. I visited D.C. recently. It is a beautiful city, but for Donald Trump to play out his fascist fantasies, he's taking it out on the people of D.C. and Los Angeles, and they say they're rolling this into other cities, and the cities that they mention are, of course, cities where there are black mayors like Chicago and Baltimore and Oakland. What Donald Trump really wants people to forget about, and we're not, are his broken promises, his lies, and how he's destroying the economy each and every day. And then he's like, but now if I destroy the economy, they're going to have to lower interest rates. And won't that be good for the billionaires? I just want you to look at the news that we woke up to this morning. Producer price inflation, PPI, which is essentially wholesale prices, just spiked to 3.7% year over year versus 2.9% expected. It's the biggest monthly jump since March 2022, when we were still dealing with the aftermath of broken supply chains because of COVID, when Donald Trump was in office during Donald Trump's first term and former President Biden had to fix it. And then the arsonists wanted to blame the people who were trying to fix it. So PPI measures the average change over time in selling prices received by domestic producers for their output. So it essentially measures wholesale prices, and we're seeing a massive surge in inflation there. And sure, you can say some of them are trying to eat as much of it as they can, but that's why we also see some of the largest bankrupt numbers over the past 15 years. Large, medium-sized, small companies going bankrupt, or they have to pass on the prices to consumers, which is why you're seeing 15% increases in like coffee prices, and back to school supplies substantially higher, clothing prices substantially higher, electricity prices significantly higher. You think about, you've seen these electricity prices, and data center electricity demand contributing to a jump in your electric bill, a 5.8% increase in electricity prices year on year. You go through all these other metrics while Donald Trump claims he's destroyed inflation. Inflation is surging. And by the way, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, is now using mostly estimates on data, on ingesting the data in terms of inflation on products, because Donald Trump fired most of the data people. So now they're just basically guessing. And do we trust the Trump regime's guesses? I think the high frequency economics put it perfectly. This is a kick in the teeth for anyone who thought that tariffs would not impact domestic prices in the United States economy. And I don't know who the people were who really thought that, other than people who were so propagandized and have MAGA mush brains from all the lies that Trump and Fox are spewing, because we know. How many times do we have to say tariffs are taxes on consumers? Tariffs are taxes on consumers. What is Donald Trump posting this morning, though? Well, he's posting his own White House propaganda as news articles. That's what he does right now. It's very Kim Jong-un. Made in America agenda delivers manufacturing boom. Who wrote that headline? Because manufacturing plants across the country are actually shutting down right now. They're laying off workers. There is a manufacturing bust. We went from a Biden manufacturing boom to plants closing down. I mean, wherever you live, you know the plants are closing down. Believe your eyes, believe your ears, believe what you're seeing, not the Trump regime led by Donald Trump, a convicted felon, a fraud, and a sexual abuser. Donald Trump is citing whitehouse.gov for his headlines. Oh, a very credible source. He's citing Donald Trump. Donald Trump this morning is also on a tear, attacking former President Obama and Obama's intel chief, James Clapper, from 2017, because Donald Trump says that they came up with a Russia hoax. And Donald Trump never said, Russia, if you're listening, hack my opponent's emails. And then Russia actually hacked it. And we should all ignore that a bipartisan Senate committee led by who other than Donald Trump's Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who was a senator at the time, found that Russia did try to interfere with the 2016 election. But Donald, we're in 2025. Why are you whining about 2016 with all of these lies? And by the way, Russia, you're meeting with Putin on American soil. You've given Putin one of the biggest symbolic victories that he's coming into the United States to meet with you in Alaska. Russia considers Alaska to be part of Russia. Russia's already said that he will only meet with Donald Trump if Donald Trump will give Putin Ukraine's natural resources, rare earths, and massive chunks of Ukrainian land. Ukraine hasn't agreed to this. Europe hasn't agreed to this. But Donald Trump is meeting with Putin on Putin's terms, on Putin's conditions. So yes, Donald, Russia is happening tomorrow when you meet with Putin in Alaska. And from all of the reports, you and Putin have already discussed an Israeli-style occupation of Gaza and the West Bank. That's your model for how you want Russia. That's your model for Russia taking over Ukraine, and you didn't invite Zelensky. I'll tell you what you're doing tomorrow is a million times worse than people's worst fears about 2016. So keep whining about 2016 while you're meeting with Putin tomorrow. Oh, Peter Navarro just went on CNBC, and he goes on and and the host asks him, are tariffs price hikes or tax cuts? She asks him, what are tariffs? And then he goes, tariffs are actually tax cuts. People are getting tax cuts because of the tariffs. And just watch how soft the CNBC interviewer is on him as well. Like, she almost treats it like a game. You're a financial network. Push back on this freaking idiot, this criminal, this moron. Oh, I don't know. Let's have jokes about it. People are suffering right now and are paying massively more amounts of money. We know inflation is taking place. Stop this crap. And CNBC is so complicit in this as well. Here, play this clip.
There's no tax cuts. No tariffs, no tax cuts. So are tariffs price hikes or tax cuts? I say they're tax cuts.
I mean, many economists would say that they're tax hikes because ultimately a consumer will pay for some of those increased prices.
Look, that debate has been going on since the first term, and most economists just don't agree with us. The problem with most economists is they got it wrong the first time around. Just spectacularly wrong. So who has credibility here? The Trump administration or the
it's
economists?
Been better than thought. I give you plenty of credit every day here. Every day I say that the inflation is...
Do you struggle with bloating and discomfort after your morning coffee? Well, after drinking Everyday Dose consistently, my bloating has reduced and my face, it feels less puffy. Everyday Dose is coffee plus benefits. It combines 100% Arabica coffee with powerful ingredients like lion's mane and chaga, collagen protein, and nootropics to fuel your brain, boost focus, and give you clean, sustained energy all day long. There's no crash and no jitters, just clean, sustained energy. The two products of theirs that you need to check out like right this second are their Coffee Plus and their Coffee Plus Bold. Coffee Plus is a mild roast. It's light and smooth. It's low acidity, which is easy on sensitive stomachs, and it gives you this mellow sort of energy. It's awesome. Coffee Plus Bold, that's their rich blend of medium roast, 100% Arabica coffee, robust and full-bodied, yet smooth. It gives you that extra boost of energy you're looking for. Both are 100% Arabica coffee, and they have functional benefits that are also mold-free. Now, Everyday Dose, they do third-party testing. I love that. Get 45% off your first subscription order of 30 servings of Coffee Plus or Bold Plus. You'll also receive a starter kit with over $100 in free gifts, including a rechargeable frother and gunmetal serving spoon by going to everydaydose.com/Meidas or entering Meidas at checkout. You'll get a free gifts throughout the year. That's everydaydose.com/Meidas for 45% off your first order.
And then you had Maria Bartiromo from state regime media known as Fox, who basically broke down on TV when she had to report those new inflation numbers that just came out today. Here, play this clip.
Breaking news right now, and a spike in the producer price level of inflation. Take a look. Markets are selling off here because the July PPI came in up 0.9%. Worse than the estimated up 0.2%. This is the headline number. It was expected up 0.2, came up 0.9%. Year over year, it is up 3.3% versus an estimate of up 2.5%. Now, when you look at core, it's also troubling because in the core PPI, it was up 0.9% versus an estimate of 0.2%. Year over year, the core up 3.7%, also higher than the estimated expectation, which was up 2.9%. These numbers have caused markets to drop. The Dow Industrial is down 105, the Nasdaq down 71, and the S&P 500 lower by 19. We want to take a look at producer prices with the Transportation Secretary. Sean Duffy will be here to talk about other things like the modernization of the FAA, as well as the investment in space. But we're going to start off with getting his expectation and reaction to a spike in producer prices. We'll be right back.
But then good old James Comer, the MAGA Republican who heads the House Oversight Committee, a fascist, let's call out these people who they are, a criminal enabler, James Comer, a cover-up artist, really a despicable, vile human being James Comer is. Witness tampering, what he's did under the auspices of, I'm just doing my job. I'm just asking questions over here in Congress. That's all I'm doing. I'm James Comer. So we'll manipulate documents and go after the Biden crime family. Okay, this guy is the freaking worst. So he says, we're going to roll out the army and the military across the country. We're putting the United States military in cities. DC is the test case. We're coming to your city with the United States military. They hear it from their own mouth. Here's James Comer. Let's play it.
Carjacking. We have people mugging people at all hours of the day, and it's out of control. So the president had to send in the National Guard.
Right.
And I think that you've seen just in the last 24 hours a huge decline in crime. And we're going to support this. We're going to support doing this in other cities if it works out in Washington, D.C. And again, it's unfortunate, but we spend a lot on our military. Our military has been in many countries around the world for the past 2 decades, walking the streets, trying to reduce crime in other countries. We need to focus on the big cities in America now, and that's what the president's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, now Donald Trump is backtracking and saying, I don't really expect much to come of this meeting with Putin. I don't know if we're going to get an immediate ceasefire. I'm not really sure. Dude, you're the person who said that you could bring peace to Ukraine in 24 hours, but oh, now you were just sarcastic. You were joking. You never really meant you would bring peace to Ukraine in 24 hours. So let me ask you this, Donald. If you're meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska and you don't believe that there will be an immediate ceasefire, why the hell are you meeting with him in Alaska? Why would you hand Russia such a victory, humiliate the United States? Oh, because maybe, Donald, Russia is true. Maybe you are Putin's puppet. Maybe whether you are knowingly or unwittingly being used as a stooge by Putin, you're being played, and it is so utterly embarrassing to watch. But I remember all the times that you said it would be so easy to bring peace. Remember all of the promises you made to the public? I'll bring down inflation on day one. I'll end the war in Gaza on day one. I will bring peace to Ukraine, not even in 24 hours. I'll do it the moment I'm elected, even before I take office. Here, play this clip.
I would fix that within 24 hours. And if I win, before I get into the office, I will have that war settled. 100% sure.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the
horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and we'll do it quickly. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and it will settle with Ukraine and Russia. I will get them to settle that war very quickly, even before I become president, as a president-elect. Ukraine and Russia, and the stupidity with I will get that negotiated and ended before I ever take office. I'll do it after the election as president-elect. I would get a settlement in 24 hours, and even now I could solve that in 24 hours.
And I think that Thomas Massie, a Republican from Kentucky who's been fighting back against the Trump regime, who Donald Trump detests, this Republican Thomas Massie, I think he says it best from the top rope. Why is Trump sending troops to D.C. to fight crime during the recess? All the criminals went home to their districts, or to Mar-a-Lago, or to Bedminster, or when Donald Trump went to Aberdeen, or when J.D. Vance is going to the UK, more vacations for J.D. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.